All right, so this is really bothering me. A couple things here. Really not sitting well with me. This thing works great. Got the monitor all dialed in. We've been tinkering with it a little bit. It's got that 48-in-1 board in it. Some of the games are pretty dang fun. I discovered some games on there like Kicks, the old Tato game. Man, that's fun. Got some coin mix put in here. Everything's dialed in. You know, this, I can't stand this. This, you know, we're gonna get that replaced. These micro switch joysticks, listen to this. God, makes me want to vomit in my sock, people. Okay. Does it work? Yeah, it works. This is an abortion here, people. I mean, what in the hell? You know, yeah, it works. Look at this. I mean, mother puss bucket, people. What are people doing? I can't live with it. I can't do it. Can't do it. I can't do it, okay? I'm telling you. So, we're gonna gut this thing out. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make us a whole new power supply block. It doesn't have a switch either. Doesn't have a switch. I got a switch for it. The way you turn it on is plug it in, or if you plug it into one of those and just flip that switch, it turns on too. That's not how it's supposed to be. That bothers me too. Not gonna put up with it. Not doing it. Okay, so this is the deal. We're documenting it. I mean, this looks like something that they ripped off of a building, an AT&T phone wire or something. I mean, dude, I don't even know what the hell. All I do know is I'm not having it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Okay. So, take one last look at it, because I'm cutting that shit out of there. It's going bye-bye. We're gonna put all new controls up there. And then I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna put maybe a 6-way JAMA switcher in here. That'd be cool. And then we'll just have it set up for putting whatever JAMA board or non-JAMA board with a adapter. We can put it in there, and we can end up with one cabinet with a killer monitor that plays a whole bunch of games. That's not a bad way to go. Been really wondering about what to do. Now, look at this now. Somebody really half-assed that. So we're going to tear this all out. We're going to put in some brand new wood down there. We're going to put in brand new leg levelers. We're going to do it right. None of this half-ass shit. Can't deal with it. Certain things you can let slide. Other things, there ain't no letting that slide. That's got to be fixed. Okay. So that's what we're dealing with. We're going to get started. Say goodbye. Yeah. Yeah. That's the stuff right there. Oh, we tore this thing out. That is about the most maggoted up thing I think I've ever seen. Now, I'll give them, you know, I don't know, something for like having it look like that bad and still work. Amazing. So yeah, we got this bad boy all cleaned up inside. Well, I mean, it's not all cleaned up. There's still dirt and shit in there, but we're gonna fix that, dude. Don't worry. All the coin door wiring is still intact, so we don't have to rewire the coin door. We can just, I think, wire all the coin door stuff. I'm sure we're gonna have to change the plugs on here, but we can just wire that into our new harness. I think that's the easy way to do it. That's the plan anyway. This is the thingamabob jobber for the coin counter. If anybody gives a crap about that, this does have a coin counter, and it, like, every time the little switch right here flips, like if you flip it with your finger, which you can, or, well, this one's got the little guard jobber on it. It might be kind of a bitch to flip that with your finger. But anyway, if you drop a quarter in it, it counts, and then you can look and see, you know, how many quarters went in there. Anyway, so we're going to, we got this disassembled a little bit. We're gonna wire the switch into this thing. We're gonna put the switch up on top somewhere. Find a good spot for it. And then we'll just, since this is already kind of already here, and the ground wires and the isolation transformer, all that stuff, I think we can just kind of leave that the way it is. We can let that ride. That's pretty good. These are the wires that go up to the light, and they had it all just wired together here. So 110 or 120 or whatever went up to the light and ran the light, and it also went down, came through here from the wall, and then went down here into the isolation transformer. And it comes back up through these two right here out of the isolation transformer, back up into that thing, which plugs in right there, which makes that work. You got to do that, otherwise you'll fry your monitor. You got to run it through the old isolation transformer because it's old, older than the hills, but awesome. Okay, so that's where we're at. It's pretty sweet. Okay, so we got our switch wired in here. Just a little on-off job. What do these deals say like that? I know that's actually off. Okay, so it's off right there. When you flip it, then it connects those two jobs and completes the circuit, and boom, then you got a hot circuit. Just real simple. Two position, you know, on off. I mean, it's as simple as it gets. So anyway, we got that. That's part of a license plate there, that little plate that we used, a little piece of aluminum, custom. So those wires come down here. Okay. Of course, the power comes in right here, and it's going to go through here, the hot, and it's going to go up to that switch. Okay. So this is the neutral right here. We could blow something up here pretty good, or melt something. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Anyway, so yeah, this is the hot that comes back down. This one right here. This is the black wire. It's a little confusing because I just, you know, I use different colors, but this goes up to the switch. Switch comes on. This comes down. So this is hot going in on this side. This is neutral on this side. Okay. So I tried to do everything black and white, so it kind of, you know, once it got here, it made more sense. This goes up to the marquee light. So theoretically, the marquee light should come on. These go down this little harness to the isolation transformer right here. And all this was part of the old harness, so this should have AC. So I just put the switcher back in here. So we'll turn it on and test the voltages and make sure that, you know, we're getting power everywhere we're supposed to get. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And there should be 120-ish right here for the monitor. Okay, so we're gonna plug it in. We're gonna do it. All right. This might not be good. I could blow something up. Here we go. Okay, that bad boy's plugged in. Okay, I'm turning the power on here, but the switch is off, so nothing should happen until we go up here and throw the switch. No smoke. The light's not coming on, so something's jacked up. Oh, I know what's wrong. Hold on, turn this back off. Hold on, baby. See, this is why, you know, this is live action. That could help. So let's unplug our drill. Big Magnum drill. Plug in our power source. Okay. Okay, we're gonna try again now. Now my heart's really pounding. Yeah, nothing's gonna happen when we don't have nothing plugged into the wall. Okay, so juice. Okay, here we go. We're gonna try one more time. Light came on. That's good. Is it kind of half-ass on, or is it all the way on? I can't really tell. But it's on. So there's power there. See if there's any smoke back here. The monitor's not plugged in, so we don't have to worry about frying anything. There's no smoke. That's most excellent. Okay, so we got power up to the top. Oh, we got dust on there. Okay, let's get the handy dandy action pack right here. Okay. We're gonna see. Without shocking the shit out of ourselves. It's getting hot. I think feels okay. Okay. Turn this bad boy to DC voltage. And we got 15.16 volts. That should be 12-ish. Okay, let's check the -5 right there. -5.186. Okay. Let's turn that bad boy down a little bit. We might be throwing a little bit more power than we need. Of course, there's no load on it. So. Okay, so ground 12 something or other. Okay. Let's see. Let's check our 5. This is a bitch one-handed, people. So much I care about you, though. Ah, look at that. Okay, Okay, 5.7. Okay, so, you know, we're getting, now we're going to switch it over here to AC. Okay. Oh, my finger kind of jacked up your view there. We're going to check the AC input right here. 118.9. I'll take it. Okay. We're going to check the, I'm going to hold this between my legs. How awesome is that? Okay, now we're going to check the AC, the isolation transformer. Okay, that's from the isolation transformer to the monitor. 121. I've had those as high as 130 coming out of the isolation transformer with no load on them, and that's fine. So that's all cool. So it looks like we got everything wired right. Everything's cool there. That's the custom. Okay, cool. So we didn't blow anything up. Maybe blown some up in the past. Let's see if this is a little teeny bit of AC hum coming from that little transformer there. It ain't bad. Can you hear it? There's no big deal. You ain't gonna hear that when the game's going. Okay, so we got our power problem all fixed. Okay, nothing's hot up here. Okay, flip it off. Okay, that's a success there. Okay, moving forward. Remember how I said how that bothered me? That was very satisfying. Peeling that off, and that was probably the easiest control panel removal I've ever done. I mean, literally just peeled right off. It took like 2 minutes. It was unbelievable. Normally you got to fight those things and heat gun them and acid and blow torches, and this one just peeled off. It's going to clean up really easy. So that's pretty sweet. Obviously we depopulated the deal. It's been reduced to a bucket full of buttons like that. And we got us a maggoted up. Man, and they did like such a Mickey Mouse job on the control panel, just like they did on the inside. There was wires on there that weren't even soldered on or didn't have a connection. They just had them like wrapped around the connector. A couple of good salvage joysticks though. I got a buddy who might need one of these like in a Mortal Kombat or something like that. So, yeah, those are in good shape. Pretty decent. Functional if somebody needs that. Ordered a bunch of parts here today. And I'm going to get this show on the road. Make this thing into, we're going to make it look a hell of a lot better. It's going to look way better. And, you know, and then it's going to, I think we're going to do a JAMA switcher in there and do a variety of different things. Have a variety of different games in there. I think it'll be pretty cool. And then, you know, it'll be, you know, where we can switch it around here and there too when we feel like doing something else. Or if we need to test a board out or something like that, we'll have a place to stick it. So now I did stick my Ninja Gaiden board in before I took this whole thing apart. I stick my, that's the bottom of the control panel here for my Ninja Gaiden. It's a Defender. That's what was in my multi-Williams when I got my Defender cabinet. It was Ninja Gaiden. I think there's laws against that now, but back in the day, that's what they did. But anyway, so yeah, I stuck the Ninja Gaiden board in there and it booted up beautiful, and it's got some pretty cool graphics and stuff. So I think we're gonna sell the Ninja Gaiden board. So now at least I can prove that it works because I plugged it in and it works. So got the marquee for it, have the control panel, at least all the controls for it. It's got this funky joystick. Ninja Gaiden has this button on the top of the joystick, which actuates that, which is your grab. It has a special feature where you could grab your enemy and do all kinds of ninja stuff with it. So, anyway, so we got all that. This is a good example. Look how nicely this was built. Now, this was obviously, you know, a kit game. An operator from back in the day, who I actually know, his name is Richard. I bought a lot of stuff from him. He's got warehouses full of these things, man. It's crazy. You wouldn't believe some of the stuff he has. Lunar lander sitting in a storage unit. Tons of stuff. I mean, Satan's Hollow. I mean, some stuff that most people have never even seen in real life. Anyway, I bought quite a few things from him. He's a really cool guy, but he did this, and look at the attention to detail. Very meticulous, and you know, it's nice. Everything's wired neat. Lots of zip ties. Everything goes into a connector, and just a very good bit of work, you can tell. Far different from these retards that did this maggoted up abortion mess. God, man. Yeah, I did vomit in my sock a couple times yesterday. So, all right, well, so that's where we're at. So, a little more later on. We'll catch up with you later. Check it out. Gone in the trash, people. Nice. Man, that bird is happier than shit. He's all about something. Oh, he flew away. He's excited about the arcade game, people. That's what the deal is. But here's one of the things that you run into. So the vinyl on the side of this thing. Yeah, this is a vinyl sided, which is really cool. It's a good way to go. But that's what was on there. It was peeling off because I did a crappy job when they applied it. So part of it was coming off, you know, from like the whole bottom section down here all the way up here. I mean, it was just flopping in the breeze. Okay, it was still stuck on up here on the top fairly well, but down here, no, it was coming. I mean, it was just flopping in the breeze. So, you know, I figured, well, we got to glue that stuff back on because we can't have it flopping in the breeze. So I went down and got some of this right here. Supposed to be the big thick, right? 0 second instant grab. Okay? That's bullshit, people. If you see this in the store, just keep walking, okay? Okay, we're chunking that because it's crap. It didn't work. All it did was make a big gooey mess. So then, I thought, well, crap. I went and got some of this stuff. High strength 3M, super deluxe, contact, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And it seems like it's pretty hardcore stuff. So, you spray both sides. You let it sit for a minute or two. They say make sure it's just a little bit tacky. And then stick it on there. Well, it sticks pretty good. We got this weighted super deluxe custom job down here at the bottom holding up, you know, just to make sure. I'm going to let it sit there for a few minutes. But so far, it seems like it's doing the job. Okay. Now, neither surface is what we would call clean. You know, I mean, what do you do? I mean, I didn't want to peel that all the way off and sand it and do all that. So we need something that's just going to bond to anything and everything. So I think that 3M high strength 90, which is about 15 bucks a whack, by the way, at Lowe's. It ain't cheap. I don't remember what that Loctite stuff was. It was, you know, it wasn't that much, but it didn't work for jack. Oh, yeah, but we got brand new leg levelers here, see? Everything's cool there. We got it all dialed in. They're not exactly spaced exactly the same in each corner because of all the hibachi that had been done before. Okay, but that's cool. Had to do a little bondoing. You can see here, it's all going to be covered up. But that corner right there was had a little problem. Yeah, it had some catastrophic damage. And I did a little work up here with some wood hardener. Yeah, because it was looking a little rough. Sanded it, put some wood hardener on there, and we've ended up put a little paint. It's looking real nice. Not that anybody really looks at the back of your cabinet, but hey, you know, it's not going to be an eye catcher, you know, if anybody does walk back there. So yeah. So there we go. A little bit at a time. This is a little rough down here. We're probably gonna do a little wood hardener on that too, and a little paint. Just kind of sand this all flat and nice, and one of those things that it'll be just fine. It'll be fine, people. It's okay. We did order some control panel overlay for it. Ended up getting one from Vintage Arcade Superstore out there in Glendale, California. Gene. I've met Gene before, actually, when I was in Glendale, California. He's very cool. Got a tour of the whole place. It's like 12,000 square feet of nothing but arcade massiveness and awesomeness everywhere. And super cool dude. He had some new old stock control panel overlays for like $22 that are big enough to fit this Dynamo control panel. He even has brand new reproduction Dynamo control panels with no holes drilled in them. So if you need one of those are like 170 bucks. And they're brand new with no holes, and you can put the holes wherever you want. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. And honestly, I still haven't really, this is kind of like a ship without a rudder here. I really have not like committed to what I'm gonna do with this cabinet, what I'm gonna put in it, which games, JAMA switcher, no JAMA switcher, I don't know. I mean, I've got a million ideas, but I can't really settle on anything. Control panel, we got that all pretty much. I gotta sand it and paint it, but you know, I did order a new set of buttons for it. I'm gonna use the Groovy Game Gear, I think they call it the micro leaf. They're not as big as the full leaf switches, but it is kind of a leaf switch. There's like the regular micro switch, you know, the clicky. We're not into that. We don't like the clicky. Here's the, here we go. There's the, they call it the micro leaf right here. It actually has a little, well, you can't see it there. Let me take one out of the package here and show you what the deal is. Two-headed job. Here's the deal. That goes on the bottom of your button right there, and then you've got this little job. And it don't make any sound like that regular micro switch clicky stuff. They don't do that. So you've got kind of a leaf switch. It's a little bit of a compromise. The nice thing about these is they take up a lot less space under the cabinet. So if you got, you know, space considerations and things like that, then you know, it's a good way to go, and it still feels like a leaf switch. So I ran into that problem when I made this control panel right here. These are all leaf switches under here, full-size leaf switches. And I mean, it's really tight underneath there. The old hyperspace button right here, it's right on the edge. And so like when you pull the control panel off, you gotta be really careful, otherwise you bend that leaf switch. So something like that, I think I'm gonna switch that to one of those micro leaves. Saves a lot of space. It's just, you know, it's an option. It's a pretty good option. It's nice to have options, things like that. So anyway, kind of where we're going. Got a new power supply right here in the box. It's gonna go in there. We got the brand new heavy duty Magnum harness right here. It's the Super Jamma harness. It's right there. It's ready to go. It's brand new. You got another Groovy Game Gear joystick coming. So yeah, we got some new deals here from Arcade Parts and Repair out there in Montana. Those guys are awesome. Got some new deals there to make things super deluxe, and somewhere around here there's a bag of zip ties too we got from those cats. So we're gonna be able to make the inside of that cabinet super nice. So that'll be sweet. All right, well, I'll let you know exactly how good this sticks. How good it sticks. We're just gonna go with that word. It's too early in the morning to any fancy words, man. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and we'll check back with you when there's something worthy to let you see. Have a good day. All right, so we've got the control panel all prepped. Put a coat of paint on that. That nice semi-gloss. See it shine. Okay. Sure. And we got a brand new set of Groovy Game Gear buttons right here. Okay. That's gonna go in there. We got two. That one I goofed around with and kind of scarred up the dust cover a little bit, but that ain't no big deal. Groovy Game Gear, people. Groovy Game Gear. Dominic's 8 leaf switch. Massively awesome joysticks. They ain't cheap. They're about $5-6 a shot, depending on the ball top that you have put on there. These are just the generic ones that have a seam in there. They're fine. But like on Multi-Williams over here, same joystick, I've got they call it the hand candy. Oh, there's no seams in it. Hair bigger diameter, and yeah, it just, you know, if you want to extend your awesomeness just a little bit, then you can do that, and that's acceptable. So Gene out there at Vintage Arcade Superstores in Glendale, California, had this overlay for 20-something bucks. It's, I mean, it seems it's a real thick material. I mean, it's like old school, and that's gonna go on there. After it dries, we'll install this, and this really, I think this will work out pretty good. It's generic, you know, it's kind of like a Street Fighter deal. I mean, you know, if you put that on a Street Fighter, no one probably ever know it wasn't made for one, but you know, it's a good solid material that it'll match up with about any color scheme we want to go with. So yeah, there we go. That's about it, really. We haven't been working on the game that much. Now I think we're going to do something completely crazy when we put this thing all together. I think we're going to flip the monitor horizontally, and we are going to make it into a game called Ataxx. Some people say Ataxx. I don't know. It's ATAXX. You know, it's a game from 1990 from a company called Leland. Some guys in England actually designed it, and it was an arcade game. They had a dedicated version of it that used 2 trackballs. It's a real freaky game. It's a real cool game. It has a real badass soundtrack. I don't know, it just has such a killer vibe to it, and I remember playing it back in the day. And I acquired a board for it. And most of them were conversion kits that use joysticks. You know, the few, I don't think I ever remember seeing an actual dedicated cabinet. So, but so you know, mine's going to use joysticks because I mean, all you're doing is just moving your cursor around and moving pieces around, kind of like on a checkerboard. When we get that thing up and going, we'll make sure we do a cool video for it because it is it's really obscure, but it's just really super cool. It's really cool. I think you'll enjoy it. So anyway, this thing's ready to go. We just got to get the harness in there and kind of figure out how we're gonna you know, put everything in and how we're gonna wire up the coin door buttons and all that. I did get some other smaller Molex connectors, so I can just use the Molex connectors on that coin door, and that'll be, I don't have to cut anything, just put in the smaller pins. They're a .062 pin, and the standard one is like a point. Okay, so we are putting a new wiring harness in, and it's down here. We've got the 1 and 2 player connections all made up there, and theoretically I pinned all those things correctly, so I should just be able to plug it in and everything should go the right way, unless I screwed it up, which, you know, that probably happened, but we'll find out when we, you know, try to go down and we go up, or, you know, push the fire button and something else happens or nothing happens. So we got the harness here. We're going to put it up, you know, somewhere in here. This right here, people, is quite the thing. This is the PCB for a Leland Ataxx. Rather obscure, but extremely cool. So we're going to kind of hold it up in there and see how it is going to fit. So I kind of have an idea where to start, you know, putting the harness connectors and all that stuff. All right, so that's what we're doing. That is a super duper clean board. Look at that. Okay. This is a deal that uses, it looks like a JAMA harness. But look, this guy is so meticulous. You see what it says over here? Must use JAMA adapter. See? It's not actually a JAMA. It looks like a JAMA, but it's not. But in this little job, that is the JAMA adapter. That bad boy right there. So we're going to see how that all goes together. And, you know, it's going to be awesome once we figure all this out. Think it'll work on the first try? I bet it does. All right, so there's what we're doing, and we're going to drive forward here later. Okay, so we're going to run a little test here. We're contemplating exactly how this coin door is wired. It's pretty neat and clean, and I think I got it all dialed in my mind on how it is all going to hook up. However, I want to test it and make sure that I can get the lights to light up when I put 12 volts to them. Okay. This harness has a 12 volt line to the coin door. You know, you can run it from like the switcher right here to the coin door to get power to the lights. And I'm gonna do that right now just to make sure that everything lines up and lights up like it should. So we just kind of pinned a few connectors here. You've got 12 volts there. Those two wires coming in is 12 volts. That one goes to each coin door. The middle one is the 12 volts. I'm sorry, the green one's on the left. The two green ones, that's the ground. Duh. Middle one's 12, and then the nearest I can tell, that one on the far right is the field ground. That's how I hooked it up to the switcher right here. Okay, we got the 12 volts, the ground, and we hooked up the field ground too. We wouldn't really need to hook the field ground up, but that's how it's going to live its life, so I want to make sure it's all cool. So we're going to find some power here and see if we can get these lights to light up. Here we go. Let's unplug that. Plug this in over here. Okay, so we should have some power there now. Let's get over here and plug the machine in. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So when we throw the switch, make sure nothing in back here is plugged in that shouldn't be plugged in. We should get 12 volts to the coin door, and the marquee light should light up. What it says right here in the book. Okay, action. Okay, that's cool. That lit up. However, look at that. They got a little funkiness going on here. We've got funkiness. There's power there. It's like making a little clicking sound. Just a little bit here. That's funky. It's flashing. I wonder why that's so funky. I don't know. Let's go get the whiz bang. See if we can shock ourselves here. Alright, this is like a three-handed job, so I'm going to put the camera down and I'll get back to you. Okay, so here was the deal. This is actually kind of interesting. See, they're all lit up just perfect. That's the 161 bulb that's got the runs off. It's actually a 14 volt bulb, but you run them on 12, so you know they don't run very hot. They light up really good. So when I ran it with this, just to test it, this old power supply right here, when I ran it with that, now when I tested the power supply with nothing hooked up to it, everything seemed fine. But when I put a load on it, just hook those lights up to it to run off the 12 volts, it got all jacked up. And when I put the multimeter on it, as it was like the bulbs were flashing, the voltage was like all up and down and all goofy. So this power supply, I think, has gone Tango uniform. So I put a brand new one in there and hooked it up exactly the same way, and it works perfect. So our wiring is good. Now the interesting thing here is with this old power supply, that thing was in the game originally. You know, I mean, I don't know how old it is, but, and the game was working with that thing, and the game seemed to work fine. But that's kind of how it goes. These things go Tango uniform kind of without warning, and I've had that happen a couple of times. So there you go. Interesting. I just found some mouse turds in here too. Look at that. There's a mouse turd right there. there too. I caught a mouse out here last night, actually. I saw him. He was a big fat one. I caught him in a trap, so I gotta put some more out here. I don't want I don't want any mice crawling around in my games. That's not cool. That is not cool, man. All right, keep on going. Okay, so we've got everything wired up. Power supply. Now, you'll have to excuse all the, I haven't, made it pretty. It's just, theoretically, everything's hooked up and it should work. Theoretically. We'll see. Okay, well, anyhow, so we got the little machismo board in there, a little multi-board, just to see if it works, right? Because we're not going to plug in the big thick until we know it works. So everything should be ready to go here. So got the monitor plugged in, I think. And there's only one thing left to do. If we screwed something up, we're gonna blow something up. Okay. All right, I already checked the voltages. They should be good. Let's go up here, shut the switch off. Plug in our action. Okay. No guts, no glory. The monitor's not coming on. The little light's blinking on the board there, so it's doing something. We got the brand new video connector there. I hear high voltage. Sounds like the monitor is actually on. Oh, well look, it just hadn't warmed up yet, people. Of course it's sideways because we flipped the monitor around. Okay, see, okay. So now we can do a little function test and see if our control panel's wired right. Right? Okay. Oh. Well, that seems to work. Okay. Oh. Do a little button test here. All right, here's, oh, look at that. We're flying in a circle. All right, we're shooting. We're shooting. Lightning works. Other fire button works. Man, I think I actually got it wired right. It's amazing. Okay. Sound works, obviously. Okay. Wow, and I mean, I'm not joking you people. That was the first time I turned this thing on. That was right there. You were there when it happened. And it looks like it kind of works. Hey, I got an idea. We wired in a service switch. Let's try the service switch and see if it works. I don't know what it's going to do on this multi-board, but Okay, it's down here. We're gonna have to pull it up here. It's just a button. Okay. Okay, right here. See? Let's see if anything happens. Nothing. Okay. Well, I don't know about that, but I'll have to mess with that later. This actually might not use the service. There's a test as well, and I think you might have to use the test. I didn't wire the test in. The Leland board said to use the service, and I wired that in. So, yeah, totally sweet. All right, well, let's put the Ataxx board in it and see what happens. Sweet. That's the Ataxx board right there. It's in. You can hear it, people. It's right here on the screen, and we got a lot of glare. And you'll notice the image is upside down. So we're gonna have to switch a couple of wires around and flip the image over, and then everything should be cool. But it's doing its thing. Adjustment. We'll have her dialed in. Cool. Okay, well, she's up and running. We're going to go ahead and we're the blue. We're gonna play a little Ataxx right here. I like to say it Ataxx. I don't know if it's actually. We're playing against Drool Man. Drool Man's pretty smart. I played Drool Man earlier and he kicked my butt. So he's one of those shady guys. It ain't looking good, people. Chess, sometimes you gotta think about your move and anticipate what they're gonna do, and it's not always super easy. See, he's waiting for me to do certain things, and then he's gonna come in and try to wreck my day. Say like that. That's what he just did. Bastard. But now we can do that. Yeah, but he'll just do that. Let's see. Controls are working great. Everything feels right. Buttons all seem to work. So it's looking good. Monitor looks good. Colors are good. Do a little adjustment. Oh, we might run out of time here, people. If you run out of time, you automatically lose. Which is kind of a cheap deal. One of those things you can go into the settings menu, which I haven't figured out how to get into the settings menu yet. And you can change that up. So we'll have to figure that out. We're not there yet. We're just we're getting it going here. Counter's down to 10. Ain't looking good. And we're winning too. See, I ran out of time, even though I was ahead 27 to 11. Ran out of time, so Drill Face here still wins. There it is, so, you know, turned out pretty nice. Let's go around the back. I tidied it up a little bit back here. A little bit of tidying up. Got the board in there. And it's got this adapter down here, this job. And, you know, it kind of hangs there, so I put that little block underneath there to kind of, you know, just so there's no pressure on the board, on the connections and everything. But anyway, you know, I haven't got it all exactly set up yet down here. We still got some wires that are a little bit out of control, but yeah, there it is right there. So everything's looking cool. Humming along. I remember this soundtrack from 1990, man, when I first played this game in the arcade. It's so cool. Yeah, well, exciting. We had very few problems putting this thing together. Very few problems. So, all right. Coin door lights are looking good up there. Now those are being powered through the harness. This harness has a 12-volt line that goes to the coin door. So the only tricky part about it is, you know, you've got your coin door light connector, and then you've got your coin mech connectors, and they both have to have a ground, but there's only one ground wire on the harness for the coin door. So I had to link those together with this little connector here. So they basically both ground down to the connector, but I had to basically make it so I could put two ground wires into one connector there. See how I've got two wires going in on this side, and then that's the ground wire right there, the black one that goes down to the harness. So, you know, yeah, little things like that you kind of run into when you're doing it, and you just kind of figure it out. So there you go. So we'll just have to figure out how to get it into test mode or service mode or whatever they call it, and play with it some more. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, it is a cold day after Thanksgiving in Alabama, people. It's clear, but it's chilly out here. But it's all right. We can handle it. We can hack it. So, as you can see, we've got the blue T-molding installed on this side. And we ran into a situation on this side. You can see where I removed it. Okay, and this is that MDF, which we really aren't a big fan of the MDF, you know, because it's just glued together wood. And over time, especially if there's moisture involved, you know, bad things happen. So the T-molding groove here is it's a little loose, and the T-molding isn't sticking in there real good. So we're gonna try a trick, and honestly, I can't remember where I first saw the trick. And there's several ways, I think, to do this. You can like put glue down in the slot, and we're gonna kind of try down and dirty deal with the electrical tape. We're gonna put some electrical tape right over the deal right here, and then we're gonna pound the T-molding into that. So we're going to try it. We're going to try it up on this upper part and just see kind of how that goes. The other side was no problem. It dug in there and stuck just, you know, like it was supposed to. But this side apparently is got a little bit more expansion than the other side. So we're going to give that a shot. So, you know, and there was one other thing that I realized I did, and I never readdressed it. But, you know, remember when we first turned it on and the image on the monitor was upside down? Well, and I said something about, oh, we're going to flip a couple wires around. Literally, that's all it is. There's 4 wires that go from the yoke on the back of the monitor and plug into the monitor chassis. You run into a couple of variations for you know, different brands and stuff of what color is what, but essentially there's two of the wires are horizontal and 2 of them are vertical. So all you do is just flip the horizontal ones around, and then you flip the vertical ones around and just plug them in backwards, literally. So that's all there is to it. It's not that big of a deal. The Arcade Buffet on YouTube, a guy, we just call him Buffett. He knows everything, has forgotten more about arcade monitors than most people will ever know in their life. He has a really short little tutorial video on it. It's super simple, ain't no big deal at all. So we're going to go ahead and try this and see if our little plan here is going to work on our T-molding. Okay, well, so we got the T-molding on there, as you can see. I think it's pretty cool. Matches the blue up here, pretty good. The T-molding's a little bit darker than the blue here, but, you know, the option was not really. It was like a really light blue. It wasn't going to work out. So this is the closest we could get, I think. So that's what we went with. And we're calling it awesome. Now, this side over here was problematic. You know, we did the tape thing over there. Ended up having to use strips of duct tape, being a little bit thicker. And that worked pretty good for the most part. But here you can see, it's just not the most premium. So, but it's about the best we can do with what we've got to work with. So we're just going to kind of let it ride here. It's in there pretty good. There's a couple kind of loose spots up on the top. You know, I did tack it, you know, which no one, you know, unless I'm standing on a stool here, you know, so I put a couple of tacks up here just to, so, you know, that's the kind of stuff you deal with, especially with this MDF crap. Just what it is, you know, there's just nothing you can do. Well, I mean, I guess we could have filled the whole thing in and then, you know, recut the slot and done all that, but, you know, I don't know, man. I wasn't into that. So, all right, well, we're going to have to tilt it. Got it wrapped around underneath. We're going to tack those underneath once we get it all set. I got to pull the machine out. We'll tilt it. We'll tack those up underneath there. Same on the other side here. But, you know, overall, I think we're doing okay. All right, well, oh, one other little detail here. We got it set on free play. So, I haven't got this all beautified into yet, but this that we made, this is the service switch. Now, there's on a JAMA, you've got a test switch and a service switch. On this particular board, it uses the service switch. So, the way you get it into service mode is you push the, I don't remember if it's the join or the select button, but it's one of those 2 buttons right there. and this, I think it's the red one, if I remember right. At the same time, when the game's on, you just open up this door, push this, and the other one at the same time, boom, it pops right into service mode. No problem. Set the bad dog to free play, and we're good to go. So that's what we did. So it's pretty awesome. Worked good. That was on the original Leland manual, page 13, if anybody's interested in that, which I found online. Which I also found somebody on the Clove, Killer List of Video Games, if you don't know what that means. They were talking about it too. And sure as shit, I went digging around and I found it. And it worked. Like a boss. So, all right. So we're going to clean up inside here a little bit. And, in fact, you see my Berserk machine over there? It's awesome. Okay. Hang on now. Get that out of the way. Let's get our stool over here so we can sit down. Okay. So we are going to have to spruce this thing up a little bit inside. We got some wires hanging around, but yeah. Did put a new power supply in there. That's the heavy dutier one. I was having problems with the other one. It was flaky, you know, it was just flaky. So I think it was bogus from the start. So we put that in there, and so far it's been problem free. So that's good. All right, so we're gonna tidy things up in here a little bit, and I may show it to you after it's done. It is a little bit of a tangle of wires there right now, but you know, that's all gonna get squared away here in just a minute. So okay then.